From being accused of making money from their content to being blamed for Arsenal losing football games, these are the absolute dumbest attempts to cancel AFTV. And it all begins towards the end of Arsene Wenger's era, a dark period for Arsenal fans marked by humiliating defeats, like the 8-2 thrashing by Manchester United and a 6-0 loss to Chelsea. Arsenal was in chaos, and fans were rightly angry about that situation. However, somehow, AFTV, a channel created in 2012 to give fans a real voice, became the target of this anger and was accused by Arsenal fans of being the reason for Arsenal losing football games. Originally, AFTV aimed to broadcast fan opinions on YouTube, marking the first instance of fan-led television. The emergence of the channel marked the turning point of the raging fan era. So, during Arsenal banter era, some post-interviews with fans were attracted substantial criticism due to harsh words being used towards Arsenal. For instance, after a crushing defeat in 2017, one fan's fiery rant about the club's direction became a viral sensation.
They will not be able to field a team adequately on Wednesday night. And if they go out or lose 2 or 3-0, I expect you, Wenger, and you, Gazidis, to hand your resignation in. And Tim Payton, you can resign from the AST for speaking bollocks all summer.
Due to the raw and unfiltered nature of these fan interviews, AFTV's rise in popularity coincided with Arsenal's struggles, catching the eyes of the media, ex-players, and rival fans who absolutely love seeing Arsenal fans in meltdown. The channel quickly became a scapegoat for some Arsenal supporters, leading to a cancel AFTV movement. They argued the negative opinions of fans who were interviewed by the channel were making it impossible for the team to get up from their slump, and AFTV was benefiting from the club misery. In 2020, after a heavy defeat to Man City, this sentiment was again shared by Sky Sports pundit Micah Richards, who claimed that AFTV was affecting Arsenal player performances. He said live on TV, "You know AFTV, I'm a massive fan of it, I love it. But for the players, the amount of pressure. You could be scrolling through and your name pops up and someone's being horrible and it can affect your confidence. These players now look at social media. Players work hard, trying to be better every day, but there's negativity." This argument, however, ignores the broader picture. When any club loses a game, the anger of fans explodes everywhere. Twitter becomes a war zone of abuse directed at players. Forums are filled with complaints, and even the friendly neighborhood pub transforms into a therapy session, fueled by despair and lots of pints. Those are fans' natural responses to a team failing, especially a big one with a huge fan base. To blame AFTV as if they were the reason for Arsenal fans' anger or were on the pitch is just completely unreasonable. But that wasn't all. Another major reason for the calls to cancel AFTV was their role in the Wenger Out campaign. The Wenger Out campaign started as a response to a downturn in Arsenal's fortunes on the pitch. After a period of success, Wenger faced increasing criticism for a 9-year trophy drought. Fans' frustration grew, and AFTV personalities like DT, Troops, and Claude voiced strong opinions against Wenger. Many Arsenal fans believed AFTV played a big role in Arsene Wenger being forced out of the club earlier than he would have liked. AFTV popular videos with titles such as "Arsene Wenger is extinct," "Wenger should resign," "We are spineless," "Please, please Arsene, just go," and "We're not a big club anymore," helped to crystallize a negative view of Wenger. They were the early swellings of a wave which grew and grew until it crashed down into empty seats, season ticket non-renewals, and eventually formed part of the tsunami which washed Wenger away. However, the Wenger Out sentiment was already widespread. Fans had been chanting and even discussing his exit long before AFTV's involvement. Some even raised money to fly a Wenger Out banner over a game. Other Arsenal fans even organized a protest against him. And everyone, including the media, knew that Wenger's time at the club was over and were discussing it. Only AFTV was not supposed to be vocal about it. Yet, AFTV faced the most brain-dead cancellation attempt when they were accused of earning money from their content. With over 1.5 million YouTube subscribers and a substantial social media following, AFTV has more views than the Arsenal official YouTube channel and has become a reference in the English football culture. AFTV's income is a mix of ad revenue, sponsorships, and merchandise sales. But this wasn't always the case. Robbie Lyle, the channel owner, invested every spare penny into the venture while working a full-time job. The AFTV team consists of individuals who left their jobs to dedicate themselves to the channel, supporting their families with the income it generates. Criticizing them for benefiting financially from their passion is unfair. Hector Bellerin, former Arsenal player, went as far as accusing the channel members of hustling. It's so wrong for someone who claims to be a fan and their success is fed off failure. How can that be a fan? There's just people hustling, trying to make money their way, which everyone is entitled to do. Coming from a player earning over £100,000 a week, whether injured or not, this criticism seems hypocritical. Even TalkSport, which had been critical of AFTV, is a business selling itself as a never-ending call-in show where fans rant about their clubs and players. It has benefited not only from football as a sport, but also from the negativity surrounding it. A user on X perfectly summarized the hypocrisy regarding AFTV criticism, saying, "People are so blind in their hatred for AFTV that you're backing TalkSport, a channel that started a daily Arsenal and a Wenger for years for the whole nation to hear. Do you not see how hypocritical you look? Daily Arsenal, every day. You look stupid defending that. Yet nobody has called for TalkSport cancellation. And let's not forget that any football fan with a camera and a microphone can build a similar platform and monetize it as soon as they smell success. The difference is that AFTV did it first and did it well. They deserve to enjoy the fruits of their labor. The jealousy comes from the fact it is a multi-million-dollar business. There are fans who bet on teams losing. Players in terrible form get paid even when they don't meet the club's objective. And the established media of all people shouldn't argue about profiting from negativity. Talking about the negativity of the established media, there have been several coordinated attempts to take down AFTV. Gary Neville, a former Manchester United defender turned Sky Sports pundit, found a bone to pick with AFTV early on. After a defeat to Chelsea, Gary said, "I walked out the Chelsea ground yesterday, and there was a couple of these Arsenal fan TV camera things everywhere. And to be honest, it was embarrassing listening to it and watching to it." Simon Jordan of TalkSport also criticized AFTV, calling the channel drivel, stating it thrives on toxicity. It's a commercial venture, and the guy, Lyle, makes a fortune. He added during an interview that football should be about lifting people out of gray areas, not listening to people effing and jeffing and broadcasting in such a way that is so negative that it's a discredit. It was obvious he was clearly referring to AFTV. Let's not forget Ray Parlour, the Arsenal legend, going toe-to-toe with Robbie from AFTV on a TalkSport show, calling some of AFTV's rants an embarrassment to look at. Reacting to these criticisms, Robbie of AFTV claimed he was warned they were going to come for him.
Do you know what as well, which was a really great thing? I remember some of the things that were said, some of the responses I got from I remember I got a message from Ian Wright that to this day I was so grateful for. He's like, he messaged me and he said, "Yeah, listen, you keep doing your thing. What you're doing's brilliant. You put your work into it. Not everybody has to like what you're doing. Keep working hard. Don't watch the noise." I remember I met Levi Roots, the reggae sauce.
Yeah.
I used to know him from back in the day because he used to be on a sound called Coxon. And then I met him one time. He's going, "Robbie, man, this," because he's an Arsenal fan. He's going, "It's Arsenal thing what you do." He goes, "Good, well done, man." Because I'll give you a warning. So I was thinking, well, what now? What have I done now, right? He goes, "They're going to come for you, man. As your thing starts to really grow and get big, people are going to start coming for you. They're going to start cussing you, criticizing you. They're going to start all kind of different people." He goes, "Some people are going to come for you you didn't even expect." And he's been so right. He goes, "Some people are going to come for you, you'll be like shocked." And he goes, "But one thing, do not let that derail what you're trying to do."
He also pointed out that AFTV members are ordinary people, not media trained, and any growth they have experienced is self-taught and a result of trial and error. Unlike Gary Neville, who, after a lifetime of media training, now loves spouting his controversial takes on Sky Sports and his own online channel, The Overlap, where strong opinions are always welcome. Yet nobody tried to cancel him. The truth is that traditional media often struggles with the democratization of opinion that YouTube channels like AFTV represent. They're used to controlling the narrative, and AFTV challenges that. Some people took AFTV's side, stating that if a few pundits found the channel a bit too raw or too real, it wasn't AFTV's fault. Arsenal fans deserved a space to express their views, however embarrassing they might seem to those accustomed to polished sports media. Then there was another embarrassing move to try to take down AFTV. Arsenal forced the channel to change its name from Arsenal Fan TV to AFTV after accusing it of breaching the club's copyright by using the term Arsenal without authorization. Essentially, the name change was because Arsenal Fan TV made Arsenal look worse. Back in August 2018, when AFTV became big, it was forced to remove the phrase Arsenal Fan TV from its name, and began always using the shortened AFTV. Some people believed it was confirmation that AFTV was so toxic that it was damaging to the club's branding worldwide. But it was more likely a move by Arsenal to silence AFTV. Everyone knew AFTV had no official association with the club. AFTV was very vocal about the Arsenal board, criticizing their lack of ambition and how they managed the club. Arsenal was struggling at the time, and some people believed the board wanted to punish AFTV. It was a classic scapegoating tactic. When a team is underperforming, it's easier to point fingers at external factors like a YouTube channel rather than addressing the deeper issues within the club itself. However, the name change had little impact, as the channel was already too big to be silenced. Another laughable claim was that AFTV doesn't represent Arsenal fans, and it isn't a voice for real fans. Apparently, some football fans believe that AFTV doesn't represent the true essence of Arsenal fandom, because, well, they sometimes say silly things or have unpopular opinions.
We're gonna win the quadruple every season for the next 55 million years.
The channel have been accused of promoting toxic fans such as Troops and DT. The same people also argue that AFTV has become a meme for rival fans. For them, AFTV is solely designed to mock real Arsenal fans, so rival fans can laugh at them. Yet most AFTV team members have supported Arsenal all their lives. It's disrespectful to say they aren't real fans. A great reply to this argument was given by a fan on Twitter. AFTV's content is consistent win, lose, or draw. Rival fans flock to their channel when Arsenal lose, but how is that AFTV's fault? If you look back on older content, you'll see they go to every game, home or away, to support the club. So you can't say they're not real fans. Every Arsenal fan has the right to their own opinion, no matter how ridiculous it might sound. Arsenal have over 75 million supporters worldwide. AFTV has over 1 million subscribers, and let's be real, a good chunk of those aren't even Arsenal fans. They're just there for the memes and drama. So AFTV represents just a tiny fraction of the fan. Then there's the classic causing trouble amongst the fan base argument. There have been instances of Arsenal fans hurling abuse and even threats at AFTV members. In December 2019, the AFTV members were attacked by a mob of Arsenal fans singing Arsenal Fan TV, "Get Out of Our Club," forcing the police to intervene to protect them. There's also been a creepy AFTV out graffiti painted on a wall near to the Emirates. The online Gooner blog published an article urging AFTV to get out of our club, detailing how detrimental they believe the channel is to Arsenal. This led to cries to cancel the channel completely. One thing should be noted, these isolated incidents by a small vocal group don't represent the majority of Arsenal fans, who, even if they disagree with AFTV's opinions, wouldn't resort to AFTV has never responded to these threats and continues to operate as usual. There are some fans who believe AFTV supports certain causes and doesn't give a platform to every single one under the sun. And for that, they should be canceled. The channel often shows strong support for Black Lives Matter, but Robbie has been called out for not supporting others' cause. For instance, the channel was accused of not taking a stance in the Israel-Palestine conflict, with former host Mo Hyder asking on his ex why his Palestine badge was being censored when his tweets were shown on the channel. This may be true, but first, everyone has causes close to their heart that they choose to support. It's the same with AFTV. They have their own values and beliefs, and they choose to highlight those on their platform. Secondly, how can anyone forget the ever-present reality of sponsors? Businesses have their own values and expectations, and AFTV, like any content creator, needs to consider those when making decisions about the causes they support. So the idea that AFTV needs to be some kind of neutral platform that supports every single cause is simply unrealistic. When the attacks against AFTV failed, they were redirected towards individual members of the channel. It started with Robbie Lyle, the owner of AFTV, who some claim isn't even a real Arsenal fan. Allegedly, he's a clever Luton supporter who masterminded a scheme to exploit Arsenal's massive fan base for his own financial gain. This opinion is often shared on social media by various football fans. A Manchester United supporter, Lee MUFC, claims AFTV members are pretending to be Arsenal fans. He wrote on X, "Arsenal fake fans with Robbie Lyle, the Luton fan, and Claude, the pretend fan. These money-making YouTube channels need shutting down ASAP." Firstly, claiming Robbie isn't an Arsenal fan solely because he supports Luton is frankly absurd. Supporting multiple teams isn't some cardinal sin in the world of football fandom, and it's been confirmed that his family are all Arsenal fans, so he grew up in that environment, even if he might occasionally go to a Luton game. Secondly, the argument that Arsenal have a bigger fan base, thus more money, falls flat when you really dig into it. While it's true that Arsenal has a large fan base, building a successful YouTube channel takes more than just choosing a popular team. AFTV's success stems from their content, personalities, and ability to tap into the emotions of the Arsenal fan base. The bigger the fan base, the harder it is to stand out online. It would be much easier to create a successful channel for a lesser-known club. Then, there have been claims that AFTV is promoting racism and should be shut down. Probably, the argument for canceling the channel with the most weight behind it was when Claude, one of the hosts, made a throwaway racist remark about Heung-min Son, using the word DVD in a mocking Asian accent. This was during a watch session with the AFTV team while Arsenal was losing to Tottenham.
As soon as I started, it was finished.
Game over.
DVD is a racist term directed at Asians, referencing the selling of DVDs from market stalls, and is often used as an insult. Robbie later explained that he did not hear the remark in real time. When he did, he immediately addressed the issue with Claude to clear the air on the controversy. However, using this incident to justify canceling the entire AFTV platform is misguided. The channel handled the situation responsibly. They didn't ignore the issue, instead they removed Claude from the channel indefinitely and issued a public apology, acknowledging the seriousness of the comment. AFTV recognized the power of their platform and the responsibility that comes with it. While this incident is undeniably a stain on their record, it should not define AFTV's overall content and actions. Racism has no place in football or anywhere else, and AFTV took appropriate steps to address the situation. Judging their entire platform based on one individual's mistake is a flawed and unfair argument for cancellation. There's also the argument that AFTV is a criminal hub because one of their former members, DT, went to prison. DT was jailed for 3 years for stalking his ex-girlfriend. As soon as this became public, people used it against AFTV, claiming all their members are criminals. Are people seriously trying to cancel an entire YouTube channel because one guy had a past he clearly wasn't forthcoming about? DT made a mistake, that's certain. But AFTV isn't some criminal organization grooming future inmates. They kicked him off the channel the moment the situation came to light. They recognized the severity and took immediate action, just as they did in the case of Claude. Judging an entire platform based on the actions of one individual, especially someone they actively distanced themselves from, is beyond ridiculous. AFTV isn't responsible for the personal choices of their hosts, especially after cutting ties with them upon discovering their wrongdoings. Unsurprisingly, all these attempts to cancel AFTV failed miserably. There hasn't been a single bit of drama that significantly affected their reputation. The resilience of AFTV's owner and his smart management of every controversy turned AFTV into the starting point of a global sport empire.